All right, take 4. I will get it. Don't worry. There will be a video today. I have to make a video today. But today I want to talk about this computer right here real fast, and how I made a easy upsell that's gonna make both me and the customer really happy in the end. So everyone's heard this saying that with a small business, 90% of the battle is getting the customer in the door. I would argue that a little bit. Uh, the other battle is convincing the customer that you can make their life that much better because you actually know what to do. Uh, but that's, you know, what percent of the battle is that? Not really sure. But I feel like getting customers in the door is not really the hard part for me. It's convincing the customer that this really will make their life that much better. And so with this customer here, uh, she came in having just a little over-the-counter problem yesterday afternoon. I don't remember what the problem was at this point, but she had some little tiny problem, and that was easy enough to solve. Uh, I don't make much money off an over-the-counter fix, but I make a decent amount for the amount of time I spend on it. So it's a good exchange for me there. If all I had all day were over-the-counter problems, that would be a pretty darn good business model. But unfortunately, that's not how this business works. So when she came in and I fixed that little problem, I noticed it was running a little slow. So I asked the one question I always ask a customer because I know I'll get the answer yes. And that's one of the things you need to find out with your business. What question can you ask that will always lead to a yes? Because once you can get one yes, you're able to figure out pretty much what the customer really wants as an end result and figure out what service you can offer to make you money and the customer happy. And that's like the two things you need in a business to have a good business is a money and a happy customer. So I asked her the question, do you ever get aggravated when your computer runs slow? And I always get a yes. That is a surefire answer every time. I've had $2,000 computers come in here and be like, do you get aggravated when this happens and it takes a minute to load? Yes, of course they do. They get even more aggravated, I would argue, than the people that spend $300 on a big box store cheapo laptop, because when you spend that type of money, you expect much better performance, also known as not being slow. So I asked her, do you hate when your laptop does this, where it takes a minute for everything to load? She says, yes. Oh, well, if you can leave this with me overnight, I'll get to it tomorrow morning, which I am, and I can get that fixed right up for you. Now, honestly, I thought it was just a slow hard drive problem, and I was going to be able to install a solid state drive. I'll charge her for the drive, I'll charge her for the labor, and I make another couple dollars off her. She's really happy because now her computer is much faster than it was even when she bought it, because now we're going from a hard drive to a solid state drive. If you know computers, you know that actually speeds up the computer a lot if that's the problem that it's having, which this one is. Unfortunately, this one is also having Windows Update problems. So I'm digging myself a tiny little hole, but I'll still end up even more in the positive than I would have if I had just done the over counter. So this whole thing was a net gain, I guess is the right word for it, for me in the end. And so that's one of the things I think as a small business you have to figure out really fast is everyone says the 90% of the battle is getting the customer in the door. And I would argue at first it is, but the second that your name starts becoming a more standard in your area where people are like, hey, I'm having this problem, with my car turning on a light or something, or and people start recommending you, once that 90% of the battle over, that last 10% is no longer 10% of the battle. That 10% is 100% of the battle, because you don't have a problem with customers coming in the door anymore. You have a problem with customers coming in the door going, oh, and then leaving. And so finding out how you can win that, I would argue, the hardest 10%, because without that 10%, you're not that 90% of customers coming in the door isn't a problem. Because if you aren't good at your 10% of customer service and actually solving customer problems and providing a happy solution, not even just a good solution, but a good solution that the customer is happy with, then that 90% doesn't matter. 90% of the battle is getting customer in the door, But that 90% of the battle is the battle you don't have to fight. That 90% of the battle is going to solve itself if you're good at that 10%. And so that is what I really try to focus on, is that little 10%, which is this. She came in with a little problem she wanted to fix. I think it was something with the Wi-Fi, not connecting to our network. Reset the Wi-Fi settings. It works. Of course it does. But then I noticed it was slow. So do you get aggravated when your computer acts like this and it takes a minute to load? Of course, yes. Of course, if everyone is angry when their computer runs slow. And, oh, well, I can fix that for you. That is something that I offer. I can make your life better. Just leave it with me for a day, and I'm going to charge you labor and parts. It's a reasonable price. That applies to that little 10% there. But by tomorrow evening, you're going to take this computer home over the weekend, and you're going to have a much better experience because you brought your device to me. And that's what gets customers recommending you to other potential customers. And that's how you grow that good customer database that I've talked about several times before. Unfortunately, with this one, it's a little more than just a simple SSD upgrade. So she is getting her money's worth for sure. But, I come out net profit at the end better than I would have with just an over-counter work. And I'm continuously growing the good customer database that I have in the area. And that's just one of the things I wanted to touch on really fast, is that you need to figure out what it is that you actually offer customers that improves their entire life. And this is what I offer. And I think that's one of the important things, especially as I'm looking at my other videos and finding that, yesterday's video was me talking about a mistake I made, which isn't a bad thing. Everyone makes mistakes, but that's one of the things that I really don't want to continuously show, because I feel like that in the end will just show, like, here is a 1,000 video series collection of all the mistakes I made with none of the good stuff that I've done. And that puts a bad light on me, because I'm now showing just all the bad things and none of the good things. Like, this is one of the good things. I'm showing you how I can improve a customer's life simply by making their computer better than it was when they bought it. Because I'm physically upgrading the hardware. I'm also now cleaning it up a little bit on the software side. And I think it's important to figure out, for me personally, to figure out what things I offer that are good to customers and tell you about how I do that, but also show you the mistakes I make, which is what I did yesterday. And, hopefully I don't make again for a while, but that's why they're called mistakes. And I think that's pretty much it. Did not quite hit that 10-minute mark, but I feel like I am definitely improving on this. And thanks for watching.